Hello, my name is Chris Adajro, and today I will be doing my final project presentation on the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment was a period of great intellectual progress that occurred from roughly 1650 to about 1790. The Enlightenment was mainly concentrated in Western Europe, but its effects could be felt all around the world as it inspired a change of thought in many other cultures and countries outside of its region of origin. The Enlightenment era embodies the shift from a focus on religion as it relates to sin and deliverance, and as well as just an overall control of one's life and thinking processes, to an emphasis on societal progress and advancements in thought and as well as the kind of invention of the scientific method. So the Enlightenment is important because it produced many of the concepts that guide our modern world today. And I would also say that it is responsible for really bringing us out of that old, like I wouldn't say the Dark Ages, even though that's technically what it was called, but bringing us from that time to this new era in history. So I think that's why it is so very important because this is the period of time that really marks the shift from the old age to the new age. Mm. I chose the Enlightenment because personally I have always been interested in how its ideas and concepts have inspired many revolutions, such as the ones in France and obviously America. So I like to see how history shapes and impacts the future, and I think that that is clearly demonstrated by the Enlightenment. So not only in the way that like the Enlightenment inspired our modern society, but also in the way that the Enlightenment itself came into being as well. So it's kind of like the bleak and destitute landscape of the Black Plague that was obviously like rife with just suffering and darkness and depression and just overall like terrible quality of life brought forth this renaissance, which is just this like rebirth and like renewal and just like that light in the darkness. And then it was that light in the darkness that brought forth the Enlightenment, because I mean it's the Enlightenment period. It's that light when the light bulb just flickers and now suddenly people aren't worried about death or trying to get over death. It's like society as a whole can finally move forward from that and move into something new. And I think that's what the Enlightenment represents. Is just this new way of life, this new where people are allowed to question things and to try to discover new things about the world and why the world is the way it is, but from a scientific um point of view, is instead of like the religious point of view that had been prevailing for the past like millennium. Okay, so the Enlightenment offers many lessons, which is why it is so important even today. It is from the Enlightenment era that we first come into contact with the ideas of freedom in all of its forms. So that includes like religious freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of association, and freedom of the individual, just overall. You can be your own person. So it is through the Enlightenment that we are taught to think critically and objectively and to rely on rationalism, which is basically like the idea that opinions and actions should be based on reason and knowledge rather than just religious belief or superstition or like your own emotional response. Like there should be a reason behind something, you know? So it should be relying on rationalism and the scientific method rather than just tradition. And we should realize that we don't have to accept everything that we've been told, which was a major feature of the time period, because kind of the church or the government or even your own family dictates your life. And that's kind of who decides how you live your life and what you do in your life was those major authority figures. But with the Enlightenment, we see the period of the individual, the rise of the individual, to where you can think for yourself and you can start to make your own decisions on what you want to believe and the way you want to live your life, and you're not so controlled by religion or others people's influence, you know. And then, so the Enlightenment also granted us the idea that each individual has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is a notion that is reflected in our own Declaration of Independence. And this is because the writers of the Declaration of Independence, as well as like our American like founding fathers, were all major believers and followers of the the Enlightenment period, especially Thomas Jefferson. He was well known for being inspired by the Enlightenment period, which is also like during this time, because obviously the Declaration of Independence happened, well, it was signed in 1776, which is during the height of the the Enlightenment, you know. So, and then that's about it here on my sources. And I just want to thank you so much for listening and have a good day.